We've all been through craziness. And I mean, as much as I learned from 2020, I'm ready for 2020 to straight go to hell and bring on 2021. If we continuously use the prism of red or blue to justify our actions, our inactions, our natural bias, or our own opinions, instead of using the premise of right or wrong, we are all screwed. Welcome to the Not Remember Podcast, all things entrepreneurship. People who just take life and kick it square in the ass with our special guest, Baby Rhino himself, Nick Langer. The Baby Rhino, Nick Langer.
Thank you.
And my special, beautiful co-host, Mrs. Brittany Rexius.
Hey.
Hey. Okay.
I'm not drunk.
Well, I mean, something. You're something else.
I am something extra.
You were something extra, and definitely not basic.
Definitely.
We had that conversation. So,
as I ordered your basic bitch coffee this morning, it's all right though.
I can't order it. I can't remember all the ingredients.
Yeah, we had this conversation when we were on our road trip.
I had to order black coffee because I couldn't remember the ingredients of the thing you ordered me. So
literally, went to Scooters, and he's like, "I'll just take a black coffee."
I go, "Do you have sugar-free creamer?" She looks at me and I'm like, "I'm just kidding. Real men wanted black coffee."
An Americana.
What kind of coffee? I go, black
milk.
Coffee.
4 shots of espresso.
So good.
Have her tell you right now, so that way you can just go back and watch this podcast.
Oh, I've texted it to him. Every time I know he's going for a coffee meeting, I hurry up and I text him before he gets there to let him know what his coffee order is.
But if they're sitting down and ordered, if they're sitting next to me, I don't want them to think that I'm like this foo-foo dude, like being like.
Listen, everybody knows now, so don't feel bad about it from here on out.
I'm just gonna own it. I'm just gonna own it.
You're like Will Ferrell and Zoolander, where it's like
this is Zoolander face all the time.
Get out of my face or lose 10 pounds immediately.
Yep, pretty much.
I'm gonna go and watch that movie. Classic.
Yes, I love that movie.
That and
I get gassy when if I don't get skim milk.
that movie and Dodgeball. Classics.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of gyms, because the Global Gym, we're better than you, and we know it. It's the best ever.
I just got done reading.
Here's a donut
in a book.
In a book. Yes. Okay.
All right. Sorry.
So
it's a good start.
Skirt. Okay. Here's the deal. Awesome timing. Literally 5 minutes ago, the 3 illustrious members sitting at this table got the honor of signing our life away for the next 10 years as we just signed the lease for the 3rd Iron Heaven location. And Chad brought up.
Chad, can you give me some sirens?
I'll give you some sound effects. Definitely give you some clown music. The funny thing is, it was 5 minutes ago, but you're not seeing it for 3 weeks.
Yes, there we go. And the funny part is that Chad brought up the last time that Nick was in, we talked about how we were never going to do a 3rd location. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there was never going to be a hot tub ever.
There's not a hot tub.
There's not going to be. But the 3rd location is happening, and we just signed it. We are very blessed to have come where we came through this last year, not knowing if gyms were going to get shut down. If we weren't, we were able to factor through. We have awesome loyal members who stuck with us the whole time, and we grew. We didn't just grow; we grew a shitload. And literally, this is at a point that we're just kind of at capacity, which is people are loving what we're doing. We're doing something different. It's the environment that we've built is phenomenal, and so it all turns out that Nick gives me a little text message about a month and a half ago. Mm-hmm. Hey, that guy we bought the equipment from in Texas, super nice guy that they really liked, said that the Atlanta Falcons were going to sell off part of their equipment in their training facility. Wants to know if we want to bid on it. What's money look like? And of course, money always to me is like, no. We'll lowball offer. Okay. And then I get a call back literally an hour later. We just won. What? Yeah, we had to go pick up 2 27-foot trucks of pretty much brand new equipment in Atlanta, and it matches our colors.
It does.
Thank goodness it wasn't the Vikings.
Don't blast the Vikings. What are you doing?
Well, you just lost some Vikings watchers.
I'm not against the team. It's the purple.
Hey, followers just said fuck her. She liked the Vikings.
Exactly.
They like purple and gold. So
what about the Packers?
Way to screw up the pocket.
Nobody likes the Packers.
Those colors are terrible too. I picked my teams.
Chad is a die-hard Packers.
That's all right. It's all right.
I'm sure.
Was your team in the NFC Championship last year?
Nope. I don't think my team even sniffed the NFC Championship last year, so that's okay.
Are you a Lions fan?
No, Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Draft is coming up.
Now you put in a sound effect that goes, oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, there we go. So I really hope you
No sound effects needed. We just did it.
Yeah, they got it.
So it kind of turned into like, I guess we better find a spot to put this shit in. And of course, the three of us were like, hell, let's do it, right? Which I love the attitude, that we are. And so we have a process at this point. Every time we go to a realtor, they tell us there's no spots. I late night creep for spots. This is a process. Okay.
Such a creep.
I'm such a creeper. And I have commercial real estate access. So I find Stonegate the first time and Nick, go check this place out. Looks great. We sign a lease. Cool. Whatever. Second spot happens. I again find a spot on my phone. Nick, go check this out. I get a text message. The clouds move. The sun shined down upon the spot. Legitimately happened, actually.
Perfect.
He goes, this is perfect. This is it. And I don't go look at him. I drive up and look the next day. I'm like, ooh, shit. I'm getting goosebumps, So this time I'm like, this is kind of like a process. Like, I'm not real superstitious, but let's not fuck this up. I found a spot on my phone.
Yep.
Nick, I got a spot. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Oh, I'll see for myself. All right, this is the spot. This is beautiful. I'm like, okay, went out and saw it. And sure shit, on the corner of Highway 6 and Highway 370, right in Gretna, right off 204th Street. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
I wrote down the address.
Where's that address? It's like 17 suites. Sorry.
Yeah, we have like most of the building. So 20816 West Grunther Road, which is basically right off Highway 370 and Highway 6. Right in Gretna, brand new building. So it's going to probably take us 60 to 90 days for construction, but we're talking brand new everything, showers, locker rooms, glass garage doors, turf, the brand new of everything, smoothie bar, the whole works. No hot tub.
But the fun part about it is this will be the first gym out of all the gyms that we've had. This will be the first gym that we actually build from the ground up to our specifications,
which is
to
awesome.
What we want. And so it'll be really cool for us because we can actually have a vision going into it and then bring that vision to life in a blank space.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes Pinterest.
No
Pinterest. No, he's seen the house project.
No.
You keep that shit away.
Gorgeous.
Listen, I don't know if you know this, but Pinterest, any of those projects end up costing way more than anything that's prefabbed already now.
No.
Yes. Outvoted.
Yeah.
No Pinterest, not involved in the gym. You
Damn
can't
it, I
afford
need
it.
Danny here.
Yeah.
No, you two together started your own registries on Target.
No. We did.
Yeah,
we could
you
buy
did.
each other things.
You did.
At least we're not buying it for ourselves. We're buying it for each other off of our.
Listen, they're buying congratulations presents to each other.
Yeah.
I don't know why we didn't start this. We should have started this. How
We are
many
the
years
ones
ago?
that have
Dude,
to
you
put up
guys
with
got
you
the
two.
Atlanta Falcons equipment.
I mean, yeah, I get
For
it.
the community.
Yeah, it's for everybody else. It's not for me.
We have to put up with the both of you. We deserve gifts.
This is true.
That's
So-
fair.
I can't argue that.
Completely
You're
fair.
right.
Exactly.
Completely fair.
Okay.
Completely fair.
Anyways.
Honestly, the best way to deal with me is alcohol. So I'm just throwing it out there. It's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Danny always
Anyways,
has that.
what's that?
Danny always
She
has
does.
that.
Danny is always packing it,
She
and it's
does.
fantastic.
Nice glass of wine in her hand.
Yeah.
In her hand at night. I don't know if that's from dealing with the boys all day long or just welcome me home. That's the way that it works. So yeah.
Option 2.
Yeah.
And honestly, we're super excited. It's it's been a challenge because we knew this was going to happen. We've made a lot of changes lately. For any of our gym members, if you haven't signed up for the app yet, sign up for the damn app. But so basically, the new software allows a barcode scan from your phone, or now a fingerprint identification. Multiple ways to come in. The key fob system is still on currently, but this in an effort was that we're not staffed as long hours. And that's an effort to help keep our prices low, cheaper than a lot of the chains that are in town. And the thing is, if you have a friend come in on a Sunday trying to, throw a $10 bill in there, $15 bill, $15 on the table or whatever, where it gets jacked, or trying to get approval for, a waiver to be signed. Now you can go right onto ironheavenomaha.com, buy a day pass for your friend. They can download the app and get into the gym 24 hours a day. You don't need to be staffed. You have friends, you have family come in town. You go and try the gym out. You can do it at your leisure on your schedule, because there's a lot of you hardworking Omaha folks out there who work, overnights or want to train at 2 a.m. or 10 o'clock at night and gyms aren't staffed. Now you have access 24/7, 365. And yes, it's to all 3 locations. You don't have to buy a super pass. The brand new club by Westroads, Gretna, doesn't require a special membership where you have to sign your soul away. You have access to everything, because it's our way of saying thank you to the Omaha and Gretna communities for being so kind to us the last 4 years.
4 years.
4-year anniversary is coming up in August.
Yes, it is.
So
Crazy.
it's just nuts, and we're
Should we do
super
a Super
jacked
League?
and
Huh?
New Super League event?
No.
never again.
No.
Okay.
Never again. That was
No.
a nightmare.
I'm pretty sure I would die if I did that right now.
No, that was we didn't have weights show up yet. It was nonsense.
No,
And to let you guys know what an impact this is in our industry, a lot of states and a lot of gyms weren't as fortunate as we were. And, it's come out from the CDC, a study with 2,800 gyms from April 1st to October 1st of all the gyms who didn't close for people who trained more than 3 days a week. The national infection rate for COVID-19 was 0.0002935% with an incalculable rate of transmission, proving that being healthy, not being overweight, and taking care of yourself is the best way to defend your immune system. And so we were lucky in this state that we weren't forced to shut down. We were very fortunate in the way we had set up our corporation that we were able to kind of be into the distancing. Our spaces are larger, so we have a lot more space. We're able to still abide by all the rules without, we weren't violating anything and still have a space for people to work out in. We also froze any of our memberships that were afraid and just said, hey, we totally understand. We get it. Now we're gone through that, and that's awesome. But so we're able to buy a lot of equipment and get some good deals and help some other gym owners out. And a lot of our equipment companies, we talked to one of them that makes our plates and dumbbells that I don't think it had an order in 6 months to a year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they were ecstatic to be able to get that business. And we're able to keep other small businesses like that open by the fact that we're willing to bet on the community still supporting us and growing. And I think that's awesome. There's a lot to be said by that. And I know that you spoke to a lot of them yourself, that how excited they were that somebody's ordering equipment again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the impact that COVID-19 has had on every industry, and especially the gym industry has been pretty massive, because you got, between East Coast and West Coast, a lot of those gyms have shut down. Mm-hmm. A lot of people aren't ordering equipment right now. The only business that actually increased over COVID-19 was like Rogue and a lot of these smaller one-off at-home gym dealers that will sell out, bars and racks and stuff like that one-off. But any of these bigger companies that are selling actual commercial equipment in large quantities, none of them were getting a lot of business, because we're one of the only places that's, we're still expanding, we're still growing. So, to have those conversations with those guys and understand that, we're also fueling their business as much as they're helping us move forward, is awesome.
Well, and I think I talked to one of the guys, and they said, like, what's the deal? Is it just Nebraska? Oh no, some Nebraska gyms got hammered. Some communities, 2 cities all around our area, they got nailed. My Maryville, Missouri, Rexius franchise owns a gym. They got shut down, and I said for us, and I think their benefit was too, is that we don't feed our families off the gyms. Right. In fact, for the first 3.5 years, we'd never paid out a single penny to ourselves. So our other jobs, pay for our families. And so we were able to really break it down to a shoestring budget and make it through, where a lot of the guys and gals who were basically feeding their families off the gym couldn't afford to do that. And that was it's the way we structured our original business. Our original business structure was just don't lose our ass.
Yes.
That was literally pretty much, that was our mission statement. Try not to lose our ass. Get a nice tax write-off.
It was a hole in the wall warehouse gym.
It was tiny, and to grow into what it has in 4 years is just a testament to the community and how they love the environment. And really that is that, yes, we have the awesome equipment. Yes, we have 24-hour. Yes, we don't do contracts, but I think you'd all would agree that it's the environment. Yeah. It's the positive culture that we have, and it's a positivity lifting everyone up in there to find their own piece of greatness. And I think that's what people are addicted to. Mm-hmm. It's just a positive environment. We don't put up with the douchey bullshit, because everyone has a chance to be the better version of themselves by coming. And I think that's just awesome. And seeing the impact we have on some of these smaller companies, the equipment companies, that for me, that's it right there. I love it, and
For sure.
But so then you've got a few other things going on.
Just a few.
Yeah. And I guess this is why we've always gotten along so well, because Nick has that same can't stop kind of mentality.
Yep.
So tell us you've made a lot of changes at BR Physiques in your team, and it's a whole new animal.
It is. All right. So, again, just like with the gyms, I kind of took the mentality of going all in, because when I believe in myself, I believe in what I'm doing. I'm willing to take the risk. So when everybody else is typically backing off, I threw more money at it. I ended up hiring an advisor to kind of give me an idea of kind of how to scale a training business. Because I was getting to the point where I was realizing that I can't do 70 to 80 clients by myself, still give out the quality of work that I want, And I was limited. I was stuck at that number. And so it was more of an aspect of, it wasn't because I couldn't take on more people. It was because I knew if I did, I'd lose my quality.
Yeah.
And my whole entire reason behind the gyms and behind training and behind nutrition and everything that I do is to impact people's lives. And so I wanted to figure out a way to create more impact. So I ended up reaching out to a guy, Matt, over at TRM, and he basically teaches you how to scale your business for whatever purposes you want it to be, as far as training and or gyms or whatever it might be. So we're going back and forth, and he just gave me the idea, and he's like, listen, man, at this point in time, my biggest concerns were that I was spending way too much time away from my family. You guys know that. You guys do the same exact thing with business. And so it's always about prioritizing. Typically when it comes to business, it's all about prioritizing between money or time.
Yeah.
That's literally what it comes down to. And I was really bad about my time because I wanted to make more money.
Yeah.
And so, he looked at me and he's like, okay, listen, you need to realize, number one, and I think this is a lesson that a lot of people can learn, is what is your true value? What are you actually worth? And then number two, the other aspect is understanding that you can increase the value of your time by simply increasing the value of yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then understanding that there are other people that can help you if you're willing to back off and allow other people to take the reins in order to make it so that you can expand and grow a business without necessarily having to do all the work yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so, again, my goal was, okay, well, how can I impact more people and also impact a lot of the trainers that are around us that I can see are like struggling, can't find more clients, can't build, can't whatever it might be. And so we basically came up with the idea of, me personally, I've gotten to a point now where I will cap off the number of people I work with at 50 people, right?
Yeah.
My rate automatically went up because of the fact that I knew that if I wanted to only work with 50 people, it had to be a select 50 clients.
Yeah.
The only way that was going to be possible is if that I also gave an option to every client that was with me for other people to work with.
Yeah.
So why not bring on the coaches that are on my team that I can mentor and can help them understand exactly what I know as a coach and the knowledge that I have, and have it so that my price point doesn't change for a lot of those clients that didn't want to stick with me from the price advantage side of things, but can still work with a coach. And then on top of that, I still look over everything that's going on with that coach and that individual. So It's a cool way to kind of structure everything that I'm still able to help massive quantities of people. I just don't have to be the direct contact all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice for me because I have my 50 clients or so that I have, but then now I've got, 3 coaches underneath of me that all have their handful of clients. And every week I'm meeting with each one of those coaches, and they're saying, hey, listen, this person, and this person, here's their issues. How do we navigate this?
Yeah.
And so instead of me having, each one of those clients being a half hour, 45-minute conversation where I'm doing, 70 hours of work with 70 clients, now it comes down to, I've got my 50 clients that I deal with, and then I've got my one-on-one sessions with my coaches, which those are about an hour long, but we can cover 10 to 15 clients in that hour as to what approaches, what tweaks to make in order to see success.
Yeah.
And so it's a way for me to impact more and more people, but without having to be the direct source, and a way to scale this so that we can start to impact hundreds and then hopefully thousands of people without having to necessarily be all on me.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part with personal training. That's the reason why personal trainers can only cap out at a certain amount, because you can only work so many hours in a week before you're done, right?
Yeah.
So you got to figure out a way to scale that and make it so that it actually works for everybody.
But then, then the clients that are with your other coaches still get the benefit of somebody with your level of experience and expertise. And so they know there's still eyes on everything, which is nice. I mean, that's advantageous. And then you're passing it on. You're passing it on to other trainers. Well, and they get to learn a lot.
Yeah. And so the cool thing for me is kind of the evolution of where this is kind of heading is, first off, bi-weekly, we actually do now a team call where we do a giant Zoom call where it's anybody and everybody's clients. So it's my clients, it's my coach's clients, it's my coaches. We all come onto a call for an hour a week, and we cover a topic. Like last Wednesday, we actually covered blood work and Dutch test, and what is blood work, and what are Dutch tests, and why would you use them, and what can you learn from that for your specific situation. And so the cool part about it is now I get to educate on a mass scale
Yeah.
without having to do it one-on-one.
Yeah.
And so again, more impact, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the other thing is again, yes, like you said, I'm able to actually impact trainers and help them learn so that they're going to prosper as well. And I understand the concept. It's a lot like our gyms. I understand the concept of the way that I work with the people that work underneath of me. I don't want your clients that are coming to you. Cool. Have them. Do your thing with them. I'm more than happy to advise you on what to change with them if you need it.
Yeah.
All I need help with the people that are coming to me because I can't take on anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's really what it comes down to is I'm just bringing a team of trainers underneath of me, one, to educate them and help them learn, but then also any clients that I can't take on, you guys can help me out on that front.
Yeah.
And so it's just an advantageous thing that works for everybody. And I think in the way that my brain is working, this is still in its infancy, but in the way that my brain works is there's no real reason for anybody to go anywhere else because of the fact that you're able to create your own income, you're able to boost your knowledge, and you're just helping me with a couple of people here or there to make sure that everybody is getting a massive impact.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I mean, you're going to have trainers who are maybe phenomenal at in-person training, but are, for lack of a term, terrible salespeople, right? And don't have a social media presence, which right now is how we market ourselves. You have the name and helps them get clients.
Right.
And you have ones that maybe are great at sales, but need a lot to learn on nutrition and training and blood and all the blood work and all that kind of stuff. And you teach them on that. So it's like a win-win-win to me. I mean, we first started explaining it to me. I'm like, that actually work. And we actually brought it up and all of a sudden I'm watching it. And so much so that one of our managers who I've groomed into this managing position, Nick tells me that, hey, she's not going to be with you no longer. I'm giving her so many clients. I'm like, don't you do it to me right now. We're also opening a third gym. My daughter's getting married. We got 2 franchises opening. I'm like, yeah. And then it was like a week later. Hey, can I talk to you? I'm like, shit, she's going to quit. Damn it, And she's like, well, I'm going to kind of transition slowly out. I go, that's awesome. I mean, how so happy.
Right.
Because I'm like, you're taking, like, you do exactly what I asked. Everyone have a side hustle. And I hope either you're full-time with me, start your own store, or your side hustle takes off, you make money. And if that's the case, I mean, like, that's awesome. It sucks. So I ended up hiring her boyfriend to start managing another store. I'm like, I'll keep my hands on the family. Well, that's awesome. I mean, so there really is no limit to this scale, really, for you. Do you think? I mean,
so I don't think there's a limit to it, but it will change the direction of my role, which I'm actually excited about. Yeah. So what it does for me is it changes my role into the aspect of what I eventually want to do, which is I want to actually become more of an educator than an actual coach, right? I mean, coaching is educating, but the goal that eventually that I'd like to get to is getting to a point where I can be a trainer's trainer and I can teach people how to do this, but I can also teach trainers how to become better trainers.
Yeah.
Because I've always been gifted, for whatever reason, I've been gifted with the ability to teach others and be able to put things into words that other people understand a little bit easier than, a lot of your high science guys that can't talk more than 2 sentences without saying some word don't even understand.
Yeah.
And so, in that aspect, I think my role will definitely change. And I think the way that I perceive the business will definitely change. I'm still going to work with clients because I like that one-on-one relationship, but I think over time that will end up kind of coming down a little bit more.
Yeah.
And just be very more specific of who I work with. But again, I think that in something that will replace that will be more of coaching of coaches.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I'm seeing this go in that direction as far as all that goes.
I mean, a lot of changes when you have kids. Kids start getting involved in stuff, and especially when you get past 30 and when you get to 40. There's just certain things that I had that I knew was grinding. I knew it wasn't the plan for the long term, but I could deal with it just fine to the point that especially this last year or two, where I'm like, okay, things have to change.
Mm-hmm.
We have to, and how to bring things to scale. And that's saying it's a word that's used a lot. I look a lot of Gary Vee. Everybody knows that. But like taking this scale, like, okay, you just literally did exactly that. You literally described how scale works.
Right.
And we did that in another podcast where I'm like, okay, how do I multiply myself? I can't physically be everywhere. I can't be on call all the time. But also people still buy in, like the nutrition brand. They buy into the brand. I have to be some way, social media, podcasting, those kind of things. Like, how do I do that? And the fact that you have you said a monthly call with
biweekly.
Twice a month?
Twice a month.
All right, I'm going to go for once a month. But I would love to do that with my franchise owners, my shop managers. Just put them all in one big Zoom and see if, because some people are afraid to tell me about a problem they're having. Or if somebody else might have that camaraderie and that common problem. Oh my God, I had the same issue. I thought it was just a thing. I mean, that's the whole point, is that we get ideas from each other, you know, and I think that's something that we honestly should implement with all of our franchisees, especially now that Hot Springs, Arkansas opens next week. I can't just jump down there.
Yeah.
Like I can't get down there. I mean, if San Diego ends up happening.
Well, I think the cool thing that you'll start to notice is when you start to implement something like that is the feedback that we're getting from clients is so much more than I had ever even imagined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I never knew that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've had that conversation with you before, but that's okay. Right. So the cool part about this is now, and the other aspect that we're doing is, with those Zoom calls, we're recording them. So then we just post them up in our team BR Physiques Facebook group.
Yeah.
So if you can't make it to the call, now you can go back and watch it. So it's a learning tool that we can use in the future as well.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, and I was trying to do it. And I like doing the training videos. We have a private Facebook group for all the Rexius employees and the franchise employees to learn. But I think that this will give me more direct feedback in that aspect, that they could, this is the Zoom call. This is what we're going through. I mean, especially as we expand. That's what we did a couple of years ago, where we said, okay, we're going to spend more one-on-one time with just our managers and just get them in group meetings and get them to multiply, to believe in the system. And when we did that, sales have gone up dramatically back to where they were when I was still running shops and Shane was still running shops. And I had this meathead looking guy over at my Maple store called Baby Elephant or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yep.
And it was different because we went to scale so fast, and it was like, oh God, like I don't even know these people. You know what I mean? Like, they know who we are, but I don't really know them, and they don't really know me. So how can they really portray the brand if I don't have any one-on-one time? And there's a lot of beautiful things that have happened over this last year. Zoom became a thing. I'd never done a Zoom in my damn life. Yeah. Didn't ever have a desire to. And now it's kind of part of the process, but it really is. It's an advantageous position for us to bookkeeping and accounting and that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of ways to utilize it. I love that. That's an awesome idea. So,
well, and I will say, even from the coaching and training side of things, that's made a huge impact on that industry in general, because of the fact that a lot of people aren't going to gyms. So a lot of people are picking up coaches based off of social media. Yeah. And then my consultation calls are literally Zoom meetings with these people to figure out what their issue is, how can I help them, and what we can do. And you can literally do a lot of this stuff virtually now when it comes to like people that are nowhere near your neck of the woods, right? Yeah. I love the in-person stuff, and I love being able to work with people in person, because there's a lot more you can do in person than via Zoom. Yeah. But it has opened a door to a different revenue stream. Yeah. If you're really thinking about it.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, it does. I mean, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's kind of fantastic. I take back some of the things I said about you.
Yeah, just a little thing. Just little things. It's okay.
Like you're nice. That's not true.
Nobody would agree with that.
No, I know. But so that's awesome, though. I think that, because I know a lot of the people who are working with you are absolutely ecstatic. I know that the trainers, for them, watching Jama and watching some of these guys, and Craig Aylish is starting to work with you too. And that's awesome. I think that, and guys, especially who already train around our gym, that's kind of fantastic.
Well, and the cool thing for me is seeing the transition of them as a coach. Mm-hmm. Like I'm already seeing it with Jama. Yeah. Like she's starting to own her stuff a lot more. She's starting to be, it's even like, I look back at like, even when Guffey was in the shops. So we talked about this the other day. Yeah. But even when Guffey was in the shops, the evolution of what Guffey has come from to where he is now. Yeah. Is insane. From a guy who didn't ever want to be on camera ever to now
Brixton Nash.
All right, so here's the
doing his own promo wrestling videos.
All right, so when I started working with managers more one-on-one, trying to multiply myself, I need somebody else who's willing to pop on camera, because I can't fucking do it all the time. And Guffey is one of the funniest sons of bitches I know. It cracks me up. Sense of humor, dry sense of humor, his kind of insults, but they're still funny enough you have to laugh at your own expense. He's that guy. So I used to walk in the shop, I go, you gotta do a camera? I really don't want to. I go, well, we're going live in 5, 4. No, and he'd just freeze. I got the videos. He was like, hi, I'm Cody. I'm like, and now having a personality, it's like an entire, personality with Brixton Nash, his pro wrestling persona. Yes. Whatever it came with, the name he always gives me. But that's just awesome. And watching each one of these people, it's fantastic. And honestly, with the right train and then an adverse, I'm going to know who's faking it. If I have more one-on-one Zooms with people and I'm doing these groups, I can see who's actually applying and who's not. We have it with franchises all the time. We always say, like, you bought into the name for a reason. Like, it's your business. I'm a business partner. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you how it works.
Yep.
And the ones who listen, and her and I have witnessed it firsthand, 100% increases in 30, 60 days. And they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing. But I'm not one that come off egotistically, and I don't micromanage for shit. If they are a franchise, they own it.
Yep.
And same with your coaches. It's them. They're the ones that have to do the contact. If they don't do it, it'll expose itself pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's why I always loved commission sales when I used to do that, because I didn't really have to. I'm going to give you the tools. Whether or not you want to eat is up to you.
Yep.
But, that's why I never had to worry about firing people. If you were good, you made money. And if you didn't,
you didn't.
You didn't. It was pretty easy that way.
For sure.
And I think that you brought that up, though. You have a mentor. Like, you got a mentor for this. And I know this about the guys who don't know this about Nick is he'll spend a lot of time at his craft. You constantly invest money back into yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, every little book series. I'm walking his office. Look at this new 900-page manual. I'm like, God, that looks like worse than VCR. I'm like, that's like the worst thing from my IKEA I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But no, you spend time in getting coached by other people and coaching and mentors. Like, that says a lot. I think that's where a lot of people in business, when you start making money, especially when you start making money, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm an expert. I know my shit. I have fallen victim to this shit before where all somebody be like, I talked to this other business guy, the CEO, and he wants to do this. I'm like, I'm a fucking CEO. I kind of know my shit, know?
Yep.
And you have to check yourself. So how'd you reach out to this mentor? How'd that kind of come about?
Well, so, first off, I will say that my mentality is and always will be that I'm a student first. And I think that's where a lot of people fail, is that they start to be like, oh, well, I'm the shit. I'm the mentor now.
I got this.
Right? I got this.
Yeah, with the swag like that. And that's not, I think that's where you go wrong. And I've tried to ingrain that in my own head for a long time. And I'll get caught up in my own ways every once in a while, just like you.
Yeah.
Only to realize, like, okay, you don't know everything. Get your ass back to work and start learning again, right?
Yeah.
So actually, I got introduced to Matt through a buddy of mine, Jeff Black, who owns a gym in Nashville. So we went to it's all weird how this all works out, but I was going on to a conference for continuing education at this gym. And it was Jeff and a couple other presenters that were there that were having talks. And Jeff and I just kind of talked back and forth and kind of hit it off as buddies. And we've been back and forth and whatnot. And he had posted up a picture with a plaque, and the plaque had said something like, it was like 20K or something like that. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, oh, well, I started working with a guy, and he took my business to a point where now I'm making 20K a month. And I'm like, I would like to meet this guy. and so, him and I had a conversation, went back and forth, and he recommended me to Matt, and Matt and I had a Zoom call, and we went back and forth. And Matt's based out of Canada, but super intelligent guy. And what he's teaching me is teaching me systems. Yeah. And that's where people fuck up, because they don't have systems in place. So, I am much more, and we all know this, I am much more of I can create the vision and I can see where everything's going to go, but I don't have the systems to get us there. Right.
Yeah.
And that's how I've always been. I'm a go-getter. I will make shit happen, and I will have it in my head of what's going to happen, but you're not going to have me sitting there drawing out detailed plans of how to make everything work.
Yeah.
Right? That's where you guys come into play. So, and that's the reason why we work well, but at the same time, it's also an area where I knew that I suffered, and I needed to bring somebody else in to teach me systems in order to make things much more efficient, much more precise when it came to the amount of time that I was spending doing things. Right. Mm-hmm. So he's now automated my inboarding process. So when anybody comes to me and comes to me and wants to be coached, it's actually already automated where they submit their information goes into a database. The database reaches back out to them, says, here's an information form, fill it out for us. Boom. Here's to set up a Zoom call. Boom. All I get a Zoom call in my calendar, and it's done. So all the original touch I didn't even have anymore.
Nice.
So it's automated that process, which is great because it gets rid of all those 15, 20, 30 minutes that I would have spent going back and forth. Whereas now it's, okay, well, you're set up for a Zoom call. That's when we'll do our consultation. That's when we'll talk. I already have the information of what you're looking for. now I can align you with what's going to make sense.
Yeah, sure. It makes sense.
So that aspect, and then again, just the aspects of, teaching me the systems of how to scale.
Yeah.
And so again, it was an aspect of, I saw someone else seeing success and not being afraid to ask, which is where I believe a lot of people fail as well, is because just because somebody else is successful doesn't mean that you can't ask them how that happened.
Yeah.
Most of us are in small business are flying by the seat of our pants at all times. Mm-hmm. It's just the truth.
Yep.
And so we're learning as we go. And when we find things that work for us, we stick to it. And so I would rather take it from somebody who's in the business that's getting success. How did you do that? And where can I learn how to do this? Yeah. And that's how it happened.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you went to a conference, and that's where I made this very pointed to her. I mean, I do the chamber meetings, I do the thing that's for local. That's more or less for building my roots in the community kind of stuff. And half the time we go to like some of the smaller chambers. We're one of the bigger businesses there, and that's fine. The Omaha chamber was, here, kiss this ring, kiss that ring. I'm like, kiss my ass. I'm out. I'm not sitting here and kiss the UP's ass. I don't give a shit. Yeah. So it was hard. I just kind of got burnt out on some of those things. But I told her, I'm like, we need to do these franchise conferences. We need to do these things. And it's just finding time. So that's why we've been delegating, selling off our out of town locations, just focusing on the franchise, do what we can and can't control time wise. Letting Steve take over the app with scheduling.
Yep.
A few less stores. That we have to, just absolutely have to. I think the pandemic, really, that's the one thing one of the things that it did me some good was, fuck, I will take any conference anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's on Microsoft Office and it's in, Hoboken, New Jersey. I'm going to go. I just want to go someplace. I want to people and have a conference. And I told her, like, we get out of this pandemic, we're going to finally fucking do this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think we had that with Brad Epstein earlier, that he's talking about systems, like him when he had to go to scale, like, hey, you can't do 2017 business with 2009 startup procedures, but a lot of us do. We stick in the same boat. Yep. And Mark Eldridge, who's with Focus Business Financing, who's been financing our franchise, we had him on his episode actually here today. And he's been pushing and he's persistent as shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, you need to do these centers for you need to do these networking. I know you don't want to. I know that you think that you're too big for this, or that, but here's these conferences. He's like, you have to do these things because it is. And it's because I always think everyone's coming at me from an angle. I've just been doing this too long. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, what am I going to, they're going to try to, all of a sudden I'm not going to know what's going on. And I'm going to be signing a document that cost me $10,000. It's just how it is. We're suckers. I get excited. The entire process of selling.
You're a sucker.
You need to stand up harder. But the entire process of selling excites the shit out of me. Yep. I've studied it my entire professional career. And when I tell you people, like, I've studied it doesn't mean like I read a book. Like, I've read them all. As in, like, I studied neurolinguistics. That's when I get one of my masters in, was like neurolinguistic programming. I studied tie-down questions, positive reinforcement, the colors that make people want to buy, the smells, the scents. Like, I get into it at such a mind-screwing level, it's ridiculous. But it fascinates the shit out of me. And so the problem is, when I have a good salesman selling me shit, I'm screwed. So I protect myself from ever getting into that position by not going to anything. Mm-hmm. It's really what it was. Like, I can tell the window story.
Yeah.
I told her, I'm like, all right, we got 4 companies come over, give us quotes on windows last year. We need windows. We had a little bit of hail money, but not enough to even come close. I'm like, oh, fuck, we're going to live in this house forever. Guy, go, we're not saying yes. We're not signing shit today. I don't care what the deal is. Deal. An hour later, he's trying to get financing for me for $38,000 for windows. And I was going to sign this shit. And then it didn't go through because I think he put my social security number in wrong.
Something. And
then I'm like, I go, Brittany, what the fuck are we doing? She goes, well, we did save $10,000 today. I'm like, the fact that it's $48,000 on windows should have told us something. $10,000 you starting today. And then the guy calls back the next day. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to happen. Like, I go, I should know. He goes, it's not going to happen. The way it's going to happen, there's no way in hell. Not happening. I'm like, I'll just live with broken windows. Don't give a shit. And a week later, our mail guy hooked us up with a window guy who did it for $7,000. Had I found that out, I would have gotten so sick to my stomach. We saved literally $31,000. I'm like, it's just because so I've avoided this shit. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of business people are that way. They're like, I don't want to get talked into this shit. We've all been sold to so much especially when you're new. the radio ad exec who's not going to be there in 3 months, the TV, the coupon mailer, snap pack, whatever it is. Everyone open. Nobody does.
No.
Nobody fucking does. Nobody listens to the radio. Nobody watches TV anymore. Social media marketing ads are a pain in the ass. And I mean, I know I might get some phone calls from this. The amount of SEO emails I get a week. And so I just don't go to shit. I don't even have meetings anymore because of the fear they're going to try to talk me into shit. Yeah. And I get annoyed. And I don't want anybody to dislike me because I'll get mad. I mean, I don't hide that emotion real well. My wife really doesn't hide it very well.
No.
She's got RBF, the worst case in history. Yeah. No.
Smiling RBF right there.
Smiling RBF. I'll cut you. Yeah. So, I mean, I told her this actually exactly what, because I've seen you do it continuously and it's motivating. And I'm like, I got to do that shit. And I know I need to I'm good at what I do. I'm damn good at what I do, but I can be better. Mm-hmm. And now we're at a point now where it's I don't want to talk to anybody who hasn't done what I've done. Yep. You know what I mean? And that's the thing where I'm I can't get advice from this dude over here in Omaha because he hasn't done what I've done. Right. The other people in my industry who've done what I've done are all bankrupt because I hated their business structure. I hated their value structure, right. I should say. Yep. I'm and then Mark had brought up, he goes, there's a lot of freaking franchisors at these conferences, and you just find ones that you align with morally and then ask them how they're doing their stuff. Maybe you're the same size. Maybe they're a little bit smaller than you, but they have a different system in place where you're like, oh shit, I can use that. I'm like, that's true. I mean, and I got more involved in my supplement owners group on Facebook because they're all independent. And we're probably the largest chain in there, but still I got to call it credit card machines. Second time they've threatened to shut down my credit card machines because now Wells Fargo considers protein powders, muscle building supplements, the same as steroids and colon cleansers. Woo, that's going to ruin the world. Cleaning out your fucking colon. I'm going to kick small business right in the dick after a pandemic, especially when 90% of the people hospitalized in the pandemic are obese, and I happen to sell weight loss products. Apparently that's snake oils and charms. This is going to get me sued. I don't really give a shit. It makes me famous, right? And so I put a post up in my supplement owners group. It's a group that I do go to, and I'll name drop him. Steve Calabrese up in New York. So Natural Body for 1994, 92, maybe 90. He's been in this a long time. Literally messages me direct. This guy's busy. He's got 5 locations in New York. Busier than shit. It's kind of the guy's been around for. He goes, here's my cell phone number. Call me. So I called him. And as much as I hate talking on the phone, I'll call Steve. And he goes, here's my guy. This happened to me in 2012. I had been with Chase for 20 years, whatever. They dropped me, locked my accounts. This dude got me up in 12 hours. Here's his name. Here's his personal cell phone number. You tell him I sent you, he'll take care of you. And immediately, I was going from panic attack mode because I have all these franchise stores. Mm-hmm. I have 2 new stores opening in 2 weeks. Are they not going to process credit cards on their Clover stations because some dickweed in fuck Egypt decided that all of a sudden that protein powders was going to kill everybody, that we all needed McDonald's instead. I digress. And so instantly, blood pressure came down, calm. I had 3 other owners reach out to me. Here's my guy. He's going to call you. So now I have more options on the table right now in 24 hours than I've had just because of networking and grouping. Yep. But that's all going back to, invest in yourself, talk to other people, get ideas, drop your fucking ego. Yep. I could have been I'll figure it out. And what did I figure out? I bought 5 Square readers, too much, and they're on their way right now. And find out the Square would probably drop me too. I'm like, well, shit. I mean, just by asking a question, dropping ego at the door. And you embody that better than any person I know because you've always been that. You've let people coach you just to see how they coach.
Right.
Which I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, okay, but this is the thing though. I'm never going to be I know everything, for one. Number 2, every single opportunity that's ever been brought into me so far in my life is because of people that I've met. It wasn't because of my own God-given ability to be better than everybody that I'm successful, right? Mm-hmm. It's because of the fact that, I had knowledge, but at the same time, I never let my ego get ahead of me to the point where I'm okay asking for help from anybody and everybody around me. And I want to meet everybody, because I never know when that person could impact my life at some point in time. Yeah. Sure. Right. I think that saying of, everybody's put in your life for a reason, and, God doesn't allow people to come into your life unless there's a specific reason for that. Mm-hmm. It's been proven to me time and time again, where it was a random opportunity came up and some person that I met 3 years ago that had an impact on me, I remembered them for that situation, called them up, and boom, they worked with me. You know what I mean? It's the same thing of the equipment that we got from the Atlanta Falcons.
Yep.
It was random that I met this guy, super, super fucking nice. It was Larry Brown sent me over a post from this guy that was saying he was selling some equipment. I messaged him on Instagram. He's like, oh, I sold that, but I guess what? I got other stuff. Cool, great. Listen, what do you have? What are you willing to get rid of? Okay, cool. Tell you what, we'll book a flight down to Texas. We'll come down, we'll pick it up, we'll bring it back to our gym. Go down there. The guy takes us out to lunch. He has a conversation with us for hours talking about, lifting and the mechanics of the machines and so on and so forth. And I'm just nerding out the whole time. And Steve's sitting there like, I can't believe I made this trip to Texas for this. And so we're loading up all this equipment and super nice guy. Shook hands with him. A believer too. Yeah. And it was super cool about everything. And then Tyler is his name, by the way. Came back to Omaha, brought the equipment back, said thank you. One of the pieces actually broke within like 2 days. He sent us out a brand new piece to fix that piece. I mean, we bought this stuff from him for like pennies on the dollar in comparison to what it should be worth. Yeah. And the guy was just super nice because he knew it was going to a gym that would actually care about the equipment and respect the heritage of the equipment that it was, because it was all old, very cool, unique pieces. Yeah. So anyways, and just in that time frame that we were talking, sitting there having a conversation over lunch, I had talked about maybe expanding eventually. And it wasn't even talking about a third gym. It was just expanding one of our gyms to make it a little bit bigger. Yeah. And then, 4 months later, out of the blue, we hadn't really talked all that much, maybe once or twice. But 4 months later, he's like, hey, I've got a deal for you. Give me a call. Sends me his number, and I call him, and that's how it went down. So, it's, again, every person that I've ever met and every opportunity that I've ever taken. This is the reason why I take these trips to wherever to pick up equipment, because I never knew who I'm going to meet. You know what I mean? And I never know what that contact could eventually do for me down the road, or what I could do for that contact down the road. And so that's the cool part for me.
It's just about being a good person. Yeah. And honestly, and it's between being a good person and having good karma. And honestly, we're all here. We're believers. We all have faith. And I'm not egotistical enough to believe that all this worked out just by my own grit and determination. I believe God is blessing constantly. And to give you guys an idea, we found out about this equipment. We won that bid. I found that building like 4 hours later. The next day, as we're laughing about it, like, okay, God, I'm a picture book kind of kid. This is working out. I get an email from the guy from Blue Moon Fitness. Hey, do you want to buy some cardio equipment, which is usually right now very hard to find. Yeah.
And also, typically, aside from weights, is your most expensive investment for starting a gym.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's and it pennies on the dollar. Yeah. And so it's sitting in the back of my 120th center store and in the back of the warehouse and a few other places. We had to cram this shit. And, it just, oh my God, and then we call up the weights place. Well, he hasn't had any business, and it's the best price we've ever gotten just because they're excited to have any business. I'm like, all right. And then the banker goes, well, hey, there's a new SBA loan program. It's way less money down. It's a lower interest rate. There's no risk. It's better for the bank, and they'll make your first 3 payments for you. I'm like, all right, I'm listening. Yep. And that's just it. And then it's, it's a lot about just being good people and paying it forward to other people around you. And opportunities come your way. I don't believe in luck. Luck is bullshit. Yeah. Luck is the word for the same people like the word passive income. Yeah. It doesn't exist. No. Okay. It doesn't exist at all. You got to grind, you work hard, you treat people good, and good things happen. So, I'm excited. I have a new that I'm going to start right now. I'm starting it right now. Name one professional goal and one personal goal you want to accomplish by the end of this year. Yeah. Right. Brittany.
Ooh, me too.
Yeah, you too. Sitting here making fun. You're not only your position here is just to make fun of me and say hey every time. You gotta jump into.
Professional goal would be to, between all of the companies, streamline the office end of it more. Yeah, and
I feel that.
Get more organization
because we probably spend. Combined, the two of us about 8 hours a day in office work for all three companies, minimally. Okay, that's good. Nick,
from a professional side of things, so my mentor gave me a really, really crazy goal for December.
Yeah.
So the month of December, he wanted me to gross $60K in my training business in the month of December.
Damn.
Which is ridiculous.
Yes.
But let me put it this way. I'm going to shift the frame on that and say my goal for this year is to have not only to keep my roster full, but fill every coach that is underneath me's roster.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So,
and that's impacting people personally too.
Yeah.
Because that's giving them an income that they otherwise probably wouldn't be able to have.
Right.
That's awesome. So,
Is your personal goal to compete in bikini later this year?
yes.
Yes.
Biggest glutes on stage. Biggest glutes on stage.
yes.
Nick walks out in heels in a two-piece.
Oh, God, that's
what
gonna
are
be
the
horrible.
horses with the human with the horse?
Manitor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Minotaur.
Nick.
That's me.
Instead of
Yes.
baby rhino, you should be Manitor.
Yes. Bring on the memes.
All right. Yeah, no, not about that.
Honestly, for me, it's let's get the third gym open.
Yep.
Everyone's happy. We're covering bills by the end of the year, which I know will be sooner than that, but I keep that goal just basic. I don't want to. I'll get excited about the potential more than I got to focus on the main goal.
Yep.
In Rexius, I hope my managers are listening to this. I want to sell Sioux City, and I may eventually sell Bellevue. I need more time to dedicate to franchisees, and I would like to have 6 total stores open this year. We're already at 2. Definitely a third I already know of, so 3 more. And that's a huge goal for me. It puts us at a capstone we've never been at before. And I want every franchisee to have a record-breaking year. That's it. It's pretty simple for me. It's if they're lower end goals, ones I know that I can accomplish. But I have a tendency, if I set my goals too big, I'll go ahead and write the check. As we have seen me do in the past.
Yeah.
Because I double down on me every time. So I got to make sure my goals are 2-3 steps in front of me that are achievable. So personally, I don't want to miss more than 5 of my kids' events this year. Now I have 6 kids, so 5 events is not that many for anyone out there judging. Shut up, Karen. Anyways, I'm gonna have to miss a soccer game or a football game or a baseball game. It's gonna happen, or a recital with 6 kids. But if I can not miss more than 5 the remainder of this year, that would be a huge personal goal for me. Which is why we're making all these changes, because I've been missing about half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I would be on track to probably miss between 30 and 40 events probably the rest of the year if I stayed at the pace I've been at. So.
What's your personal?
Ooh.
Have sex with your husband as many times as possible.
I mean, that's all.
Yes.
That's a given for my benefit, not yours.
Yes. It was getting too quiet. I had to shake things up a little
Had to
bit.
throw the awkwardness in.
And there we are.
Personal goal. I think it would tie in with
Hey, who's
the
that good-looking son of a
professional.
bitch on the TV there?
He
That's
looks smaller.
Tyrexius. This Tyrexius. He's chubby.
Oh.
Anyways,
smaller
it's a really
baby
bad
right now.
angle from the camera.
That is
Chad.
that is a smaller baby rhino for sure.
Yeah. Personal goals.
Anyway, sorry.
Personal goal would probably tie in ish to the professional goal of getting
Time.
everything more
Time.
getting everything more organized, so then create more not just time but
We can't
quality time.
Fucking date nights again would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Not being able to step away and not have to
Answer
put
phone
out
calls
fires or
every 5 seconds. So
being present.
there we go.
So the whole entire reason why I did invest in the mentor and everything else was a personal goal that I'm achieving now, but I want to make sure stays through the end of the year, which is my weekends are for my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my Monday through Fridays are long days, and I'm okay with that. But I had made a promise that Saturdays and Sundays would be for family and for family only.
Yeah.
And so that's the personal goal that I have for the rest of the year, is to not let myself get in my own way
Yeah.
and add shit back onto my plate so that is no longer a thing.
Yeah. I mean, we got good people around us. You know what it is, and that's in it. My always fear was that nobody can do it better than I can, so I should just do it.
Yep.
And I still have way too much of that in me.
You do.
But I also I've made mistakes. I've put some wrong people in the wrong positions before and not vetted people correctly and made my expectations very clear, and I'm too nice, and then they stay too long. Mm-hmm. Like I usually make the decision whether somebody should go within probably 21 days. just takes me usually 2 years to get rid of them. That's pretty fucking fair. Honestly, you guys know that is pretty fair.
That's true.
I hate not giving people the chance. You know what I mean? And I think also as I get older, the younger kids seem to be more annoying. If I'm being real, and
getting old.
I am getting old, but it's
He's gonna start like barking at people on the front lawn.
Sweeping
Don't
the
walk your
driveway.
dogs that way.
sweeping the
You
driveway.
can't turn left there.
I yell at people through the car when the windows are up, and she thinks that makes me like 900, which is true. I do it all the time. But I think that's a lot of it is that I have less tolerance for the bullshit of laziness anymore, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
And I'm not having a problem calling people out when it needs to be called out. And it's a thing that because my kids are that age now.
Yep.
And I'm like, if you want something, you're going to have to go earn it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's one cute thing to say it in a post. It's a whole other thing to say no, really no. Like I'm done. I'm done being taken advantage of, which has been my biggest thing. You know that, and so do you. That I've been too nice. There are a lot of people that really should not have worked for me as long as they worked, and that's part of the thing is streamlining this year because we spend entirely too much time putting out fires 7 days a week. And it's like, God, if I could just have a Sunday morning and not have a single message or a complaint come through on anything till like noon, that would be a huge, massive achievement. So, but it's just the whole, I can't stand it. And I don't know any way to fix this. If somebody messages into any of the companies, that the business is being left on the table.
I agree.
That there's an unsatisfied customer someplace. And so we talked about this before, rotating who's responsible for what on these days. Just even a rotation. Like, all right, Steve, this Saturday, Sunday, it's your baby.
Yep.
I'll take the next one. That way I know that Rexius is handled, VHI is handled, Iron Heaven's handled, where I can literally give my wife 24 hours of uninterrupted attention.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's
the noise that I imagine my wife makes too.
So,
at least I hope so.
Yeah. I mean,
or it's because I'm gonna take the boys away from her so she can sit there and not have the boys for
the glass of wine and handle her shit.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Well, man, awesome. I'm so jacked. Iron Heaven 3, watching your coaching business has been just from a sidelines. I'm just like, holy shit, this dude's doing something. I thought he was a crackpot at first, but oh my God, look at this thing. Oh, wait, I mean, now he's stealing my employees. Fucking asshole. But no, man, I'm super excited. I am so proud of you, man. You're doing awesome stuff. And what we're going to do as a gym here is it's freaking awesome. And no, there's no Iron Heaven 4 ever.
No.
And there's no hot tubs. There's no pool, no basketball court. Sorry.
No.
I don't believe it.
I have a message in a basketball court. Nick goes, I will go get one of those sand fill-up things and put it outside the warehouse for you to play on. I'm like, that's fair. I'll take it.
That's all that's happening.
Awesome. Iron Heaven 3 coming soon.
Yep.
All right, guys.